Hello, this is Beanie here. Today, this video, I'd like to discuss about my thoughts on the Hang Seng Tech. We know that the Hong Kong market has been really moving very well recently with the Hang Seng Index hitting one-year high, but the Hang Seng Tech is right now moving at, I thought, a faster rate than the Hang Seng Index because of the tech stocks. Let's take a look at Hang Seng Tech in itself. The index includes big tech name like Xiaomi, Alibaba, Meituan, JD, Tencent, and all these are the tech stocks that serve the Chinese market and as well as international market. And we know that recently Alibaba hit the news, Baidu hit the news because of their AI initiative. Now, so the Hang Seng Tech, as far as the chart here shows, is actually going higher with a break of the high that was made in 2025. So there was a high here that was made in 2025, and that was in March. And after that, price dropped. We are like to understand this high here because this high was made after price. You know that for the Hang Seng Tech, it went down as a downtrend. But somewhere along here, price starts to get a little bit flat. And at the same time, we do see a high and a higher high being made. So that's interesting. And we have a higher low here, higher low, and a higher low as a comparison to the previous low. Now, what this means is that during this stage of time, that means this period of time, price instead of going lower in a downtrend, what it did was to make a series of higher high. This means that investors are willing to endorse the Hang Seng Tech, or rather the bulk of the tech stocks at higher price. And with a higher low here, so this is your higher low, this means that whenever it moves down and whenever it's price corrected, investors are willing to buy at a higher price than the previous low. That means they don't want to wait too low or don't want to wait until the previous low to get into the position. They would want to buy at a higher price than the previous low. So these are some of the clues that gave rise to the strength of the Hang Seng Tech. What is most important is that with this breakout here, so this is a breakout here, right? That happened just recently, which is just this week only. Why I am focusing on this breakout is because if you look at the whole structure here, the entire structure, so this looks like a lengthy base, and this lengthy base started somewhere around 2022, and that the peak was about March 2025. So this is a 3-year base. Now what we have here is a little bit of a shallower correction as versus the base. So this was the average low of the base, so that's the average low. So this one here is actually considered a higher low. Okay, in other words, what we have in this pattern is a cup and a handle pattern. So this will be your cup and this will be your handle pattern. Now then, next question, how high can the Hang Seng Tech move? Let's say assuming that this is a cup and handle pattern. That means that we assume that the cup and handle pattern has already been completed. Then how high can the Hang Seng Tech move? So there are ways to predict technically. All right, so it goes into, for example, if you made the accumulation, let's say towards the low here and the low here, and you have been actually holding for, a period of time, right? So for example, if you have been starting to buy the Hang Seng Tech around here as it starts to drop, and around here, around here, and around here, and around here. So I assume that you've been holding the Hang Seng Tech for about 3 years. So if an investors hold the index or hold a basket of stocks for 3 years, then when it starts to move up, they're unlikely or very unlikely to let go of their position. They probably want to wait a while before they want to take profit. One way to measure profit is to measure the low to the high, which is the height of this base here. Then we take this measurement, project to the point of breakout, and this will give us the projected target profit. So that's the first level here, assuming that is a ratio of 1:1. So this will be the first profit target of Hang Seng Tech, and that's around 9,660. All right, so I think it's reasonable to assume that, because then yes, there was a high point here for Hang Seng Tech. Now the other way to do that, which is a little bit more of a conservative way of looking at the measured move of a cup and handle, is to measure the height of the handle like this. So we are measuring the height of the handle, and then we take this and we project to the breakout point. All right, so assuming that this is the breakout point, and then we are looking at potentially this place here, which is about 8,000 points for the Hang Seng Tech. And I think that's reasonable. If you look at the historical prices here, this would be somewhere where there's quite a consolidation or quite some price action here around 8,000 region. So in other words, if we assume that this is a big cup and then this is a handle pattern here and there was a breakout, then I'm looking at, based on the calculated move of this pattern here, two ways. One is a conservative one, which is to measure the handle, and that's about 8,000, and the other one, which is based on base, and that's about 9,600 points. All right, now then, since we know that this could be a possible cup and handle, again, that this is my speculation. This is not financial advice. I'm just providing what I'm observing here from the technical point of view. Now, let's say, for example, you would like to gain exposure into Hang Seng Tech, and if you do have, let's say, a broker account in Singapore, then what can you do? There are basically two ways here. One is you could buy into an ETF, which is an exchange traded funds, and that would be listed in Singapore, and that's HST. HST is the ETF of Hang Seng Tech. So instead of just buying into the index, you buy into an exchange traded funds that track the index. Now the other way is via DLCs, which is daily leverage certificates. These are derivative instruments, but for example, SocGen or UBS, they do offer the DLCs, which is daily leverage certificates for Hang Seng Tech. And the last is to explore into warrants. Warrants.com.sg, they offer the warrants for the Hang Seng Tech. But both the DLCs and the warrants, they are meant for short-term movement. They are really not for long-term movement. Do understand each of the product specifications before you adopt this product into your investment. All right, so I come to the end of this very short video. Hope that you like it. And if you do, remember to hit the subscribe button. And remember to scan this Telegram QR code, because this is where I post a lot of my return analysis, almost like weekly, on my thoughts into Hong Kong stocks, Singapore stocks, as well as US stocks. All right, see you in my next video. Thank you.